Okay, hello everyone. We're going to discuss the language of logic, and this is part one. So, in your preliminary activities, you have there a photo of Vice President Robredo showing a fake news from a fake source. So, always be critical with what you see on social media. You need to take time to reflect whether the news are legitimate or fake. So what do we need to do? We need to look at the source and the context of the topic or material we are reading. So this is a part of the preliminary activities that we have for our lesson 7. Okay, so this is how we would look. We need to look at the uh, news feeds or the legitimacy of the um, this post that we see on social media. It is also right that we look at things logically. So when we say logic and we use the word logic, it is a study of the principles of valid demonstration, interference, and it's taken from the Greek word logos. Logos means a lot of things. It could be a thought, an idea, an argument, account, a reason, or a principle. But primarily, it is a basis for all mathematical reasoning and all other automated reasoning. Okay. Logic, according to Weinberg, is everyone's preferred method in decision making. So if a person wants to make a decision, it has to be based on logic. But remember, even logical arguments can usually sound uh, legitimate or logical. So you have to be careful. Many of us do not use logic consistently for decision makings. Ibig sabihin, we often refer to hearsay, minsan nga fake news, naniniwala na tayo. It's resulting to poor decisions. Okay? So remember in logic 2, there is what we call a proposition. All propositions are either true or accurate or not accurate or false. Okay? Remember too that an argument is built on premise. Kailangan merong premise. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng premise? Premises are propositions used to build argument. So kung gusto mo mag-build ng isang argument para mag-decide ka sa isang bagay, you can use propositions. Okay? Nakakagawa tayo ng proposition by using a premise. Okay? From these premises, we can also come up with inference. And finally, we can come up with a conclusion. Okay, mamaya pag-usapan natin yan further. Let's go first to the propositional logic table. So the first column has a statement. Second has helps you determine whether it's a proposition or not. And then the last one is the truth value. Every proposition has a truth value. Dalawang lang naman po yun. Okay, truth value, ibig sabihin if the statement is true or false. Again, every proposition, okay, every statement uh, can be a proposition or not. And once it's a proposition, it can be true or false. So we have to determine whether the following sentences are proposition or not. So let's look at the statements 1, 3, and 5. They are all true statements. Basahin nga natin. 3 is an odd integer. That's number 1. Number 3, Quezon City was once the capital of the Philippines. Okay. And then number 5, 12 divided by 4 is 3. Yes, those statements are all true. Okay. Therefore, they are propositions. How about 6, 7, and 10? Let's look at those. 6 has 2 plus 3 equals 4. 7, 9 is an even integer. And the number 10, January, is a Christmas month. These are all propositions. They are indeed propositions. However, they are false proposition. So the statement has a reason to it, but they are false reasoning. Thus, these are all proposition and logical statements. Okay. How about the remaining? The remaining are not propositions, are not logical. Let's look at those. 8 and 9. They are both commands. Likewise, it's also hard to determine number 2. We cannot say whether it's true or false since it's a question. So all these three are not prepositions. Okay? Including number 9, of course, past your paper. Okay? Okay, next. If we're studying logic, we need to be familiar with the logical operators too. So, how does it work with logical operators? It connects, natin ang connectives. It connects um, propositions and helps you come up with a new proposition from existing ones. Okay, dito na yung parang tinatawag natin kanina, building an argument for you to have to draw a conclusion from. Okay, so next slide will show you a truth table. It's going to show a relationship between the truth values of the preposition. There are 6 logical operators. Okay, and each of them should have a truth value. Pagka meron tayong proposition, titingnan natin lagi yung kanilang truth value. Kung T ba siya or true or F ba siya for false. There are, again, 6 operators to it. First is negation, second conjunction, 3 disjunction, 4 implication, 5 biconditional, and 6 exclusive or. So let's look at the next slide. So the first one is negation. You will know right away negation by the symbol it has. It has a negative sign next to letter P. Okay? It can be read as, it is not the case that P. Yan naman po yung equivalent niya in 2 words. Or simply not a proposition or not P. When we look at the truth table for negation, it's showing here a statement that is negated is a true statement. Kapag ganyan, meron kayong negative P. Now, a statement that is not negated is false. Ganun lang po kasimple yan. Okay? Example po natin dyan is, bawa yung dogs. Dogs are reptiles. That's a false statement. Paano po natin siya magiging true statement? Dogs are not reptiles. There, you are able to come up with a true statement because the one without the not is false. Yan lang po kasimple yung negation. And the symbol again is not. For conjunction, so similar naman to sa equivalence sa speech natin, nag-add tayo ng dalawang, let's say, statements. So when you conjunct, you add. When you add P, that's one statement to another statement, which is Q, it is denoted by P, like an inverted V, and then Q. This means that the proposition is true when both P and Q are true and false otherwise. So, kailangan both of them are true. What if they are both false? What if it's true or false? Or what if it is false or true? Lahat po sila false. Ang tama lang po dyan, pag nag-add kayo is both statements are true. That's the only time you will use conjunction. If both statements are true. Yung P and Q. Okay? How about number 3? Disjunction. The disjunction of P and Q is denoted by P and then somewhat like a letter V and Q. This is a proposition that is false when both P and Q are false and true otherwise. So all other statements makes it true. But if you want to show 2 statements that are false, paano po yun? both P and Q are false, then it is false. This is a disjunction. So sa symbol natin, P and F are false. But all the rest, because meron silang kasamang true, true po sila statement. About number 4, implication. The implication of P and Q is denoted by a letter P and an arrow sign, and then Q. So you notice that this proposition is false when the P is true and the Q is false and true otherwise. So dito titingin po tayo, yung term kasi ng implication, meron siya tinatawag na result. Premise or hypothesis, and then Q is a consequence or conclusion. Para siyang result. Okay? Parang cause and effect. Doon din madidetermine yung inyong sign. So always, 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 if the statement, the P statement or the proposition for a premise is true, and then the consequence is false, ano yan? False po yan. Paano po kapag ang proposition ay false at true naman po yung consequence? Eh di true siya. How about kapag true po yung consequence at saka both consequence and premise? Eh di true pa rin siya. So kaya na lang siya nagiging false. Ayan po sinabi, true statement or premise, and then false yung kanyang consequence. Doon lang siya nagiging false. Yan po ang example niyan. How about biconditional? Makita niyo po yung arrow na parang forward and backward. By, true siya. Biconditional is when the P and Q, okay, it is true when P and Q have the same truth values. So pag parehong false, ano pong sagot? True po siya. Eh, pag parehong true, true rin po. Paano po pag F and T? False. F and T. T and F po, false pa rin po. Yan po yung biconditional. So, hindi siya magagamit sa iba kapag ganun po yung kanyang equation. Last but not the least, exclusive OR. Dito naman po, exclusive OR denotes a P, para siyang will, and then Q. It is a proposition that is true when exactly one of P and Q is true. Kapag isa lang sa kanila. Kapag ang premise ay true, tapos yung Q naman ay false, true po yan. Pag baliktad, ganun din po. Pero pag pareho, hindi po sila true. Pareho po silang false eh. Eh, false pa rin po sila. Kapag pareho naman po silang true, true sila. So we're just talking about the symbols here. Ha? Wala siyang, it's not needed you, it's not asking you to think more than that. Kasi nga, ang pinapagawa naman sa inyo dito is to complete the equation. Titingin ka lang dun sa mga guides mo sa ilalim. Check your answer on the previous table. Punta ka lang doon, tapos check mo siya dito, tapos makikita mo na siya. Okay? Next naman po ay continuation yan. So, from beginning tayo, it's still talking about the language of logic. Now, just to let you know, algebra uses X and Y to represent missing numbers, but logic uses P and Q. And it stands for sentences and statements, and they're either true or false. We just review the 6 basic operators. Negation. So, ang statement na negated, true siya. Kapag hindi naman siya negated, false siya. Conjunction. Mag-add ka ng 2 statements. Okay? Gagamit ka ng and, but, also, in addition. And look at the symbols, guys. Pag negation, negative yun, tapos yung P, and then yung conjunction P, tapos parang inverted P sa Q. So, in simple equivalent sa speech, not, kapag negation, okay? So, isang statement gagawin mo siyang not. Tapos kapag 2 statements naman, i-add mo together. But also, and in addition, moreover, yan po yung sign. So, disjunction naman po, statement is read as P or Q. So, ang connective na ginagamit po natin dito, or, at ang symbolic form po natin ay P and V sign and then Q. Now, implication is showing a result. So, ibig sabihin, meron siyang premise and consequence. At ang ginagamit natin connective is if, then implies, sufficient, necessary, whenever. So, P resulting to Q. Okay? Babalikan natin kung ano yung mga truth values dyan later on. Pero ito muna yung operators. So, ang statement is read as if, P, if, and only if Q. Dyan yan sa biconditional. If and only if. Ibig sabihin, kailangan both of them naman po ay, let's say, true and both are false, then they should be true. Pagka may isa dyan na false at may isa lang dyan na true, so may halo sa kanila, then we will not be using the symbol. Kasi if and only if lang po siya. True and if and only false. Exclusive or, ito naman po, either, hindi pwedeng both. Kung kanina sa by the conditional, kailangan both. Sa exclusive or, either lang, neither then. Okay? At ang symbol niya is para siyang will, yung bilog na may will. So let's look at the translation. Paano natin ita-translate yung negation? Pag negation, halimbawa si Ellie Goulding is an opera singer. Ita-translate mo lang siya to a negative statement. Lalagay ka lang ng not. Paano naman po pag yung statement is the dog does not need to be fed? I-negate mo po yun. Dito tanggalin mo yung not. That's how you negate a negative. It's now going to be a true statement. The dog needs to be fed. Okay? Consider the following kasi kailangan din natin mag-translate ng compound statements into symbolic form. Today is Friday. Yan yung P mo. Tapos yung Q mo, it is raining. Yung R, I am going to a movie. And then S, I am going to a basketball game. So consider the following simple statements. Try natin i-write yung compound statements in symbolic symbols kasi ang pag-aaral natin dito. Today is Friday and it is raining. Anong symbol or connector na ginamit? And. Dahil sa end na yan, may symbol tayong ginagamit. P inverted V and then Q. Kasi nag-add tayo ng dalawang statements. Okay po? Now, consider, it is raining and it is not raining and I am going to a movie. It is not raining and I'm going to a movie. So, ang connector mo dun sa it is not raining, yung not. At dahil dalawang proposition siya, may end. Yan ang symbol mo. Negative Q, inverted V, and then R. Based doon sa statements. Next, I am not going to the basketball game. May negation din yan. Or, I'm going to a movie. Or ang ginamit natin. Di ba pag or, ano pong gagamitin? If, then. Okay? If it is raining, I am not going to the basketball game. Sorry, yung pala yung statement. If it is not raining, then I'm not going to the basketball game. Kaya yun naman pala. Kaya, result yun, di ba? If it is raining. Meron siya tinatawag na premise. Tapos, yung result niya, not going. Negated yon. Then, symbol niya dapat may negative. Next, compound statement. Either I'm going to a movie or I'm going to a basketball game. Either or. Anong gamit na sa either or? Yung circle na parang will. Yan po. Madali lang naman siya to translate. Dapat. How about this symbol? Subukan naman natin itong symbol na to. Connective by end. The game will be shown. Pinapahanap kasi sa iyo yung symbolic form na gano'n. Di gawin mo siya. Susulat mo siya based there. Ano tong number 2? Negative R. Nasaan ba yung R? The game will not be shown. I-negate mo yung negative. The game will be shown. And then, ano pa yung ginamit? And. Didadagdag mo yung susunod na S. And Mets are favored. to win. O, yan na po. S. O, if and only if yun, di ba po? Eh, kailangan po i-negate kasi may negative na P. The Mets are favored to win if and only if the game will not be played. Ah, yan. Next is, madaling-madali itong susunod eh. Problem solving and reasoning. May mga activities dyan prior that eh. Kailangan magawa mo yun, pinapasagutan sa atin yun. Sa gawin nyo yung preliminaries doon. But just to give you an overview of Polya's problem solving technique. In his book, he said that there are 4 things we need to undergo to solve a problem. Understand the problem, devise a plan, carry out the plan, and look back. Ayan. May process flow tayo. Understand the problem, devise a plan, carry out the plan, look back. Ayan, may mga questions, guide questions tayo in answering those items. Let's look at the sample problem. If a woman is randomly chosen from a group of mothers with exactly 3 children, what are the chances that all 3 children are male? So, pwede tayong gumawa ng diagram and make a list of possible outcomes that will help us obtain the answer. The first child can be either a girl or a boy. Tama po ba? O yan. So, pakikita natin tong example na to. Second child can be a boy or a girl. Ayan, meron din po tayong diagram sa second set. Now, the third child can either be a boy or a girl. Tingnan natin din yan. Ilalagay natin boy or a girl, boy or a girl. So, with this example that we have, and if we're going to look at a group of mothers and which one has males, meron tayong order of children, meron tayong P, number of boys, and then yung number of result natin. Ang ating pagtitignan natin yung kanilang fraction. Okay? So, 1/8 dyan ay 3 boys. Tapos 3/8 naman po dyan ay 2 boys. 1, possible din, 1 boy, 3/8 din. No boy naman kasi ngayon hinahanap 3 boys. So, 1/8 ang possibility based dun sa ating ginawa na diagram. 1/8 ang probability na ang isang tao ay meron siyang 3 anak na lalaki. Okay? Real life problem solving. Diyan sa ating mga activities anak dito, common sense talaga ang gamit because it's gonna help you with practical judgment and concerning everyday matters. At isa pa, schema. Because the schema or background schema, basta yung mga na-experience mo na before, babalikan mo lang po siya. Yan po yung magtutulong sa iyo. Okay? So, all activities required to think critically. Laki po dyan. Next is, last but not the least, is yung ating data management. So, similar to dun sa mga statistics natin. If we want to determine a sample size, we have to be guided. Okay? An appropriate sample size renders research more efficient. Kailangan tama yung size ng taong tinatanong natin or yung ating mga samples. Data generated are reliable. Resource investment is as limited as possible while conforming to ethical principles. Okay? Should be small and it should not be excessive. So when we're doing research, sample size is very important. If the population is too big to handle, a sustainable number of samples is acceptable. In research, the bigger the sample size, the more accurate you can be that the results truly reflect that of the entire population. What are the approaches there? Using a census for small population, using a sample size of similar studies, using published tables, okay, by well-established authors, using sample size calculator and apply all formula. There is what we call a confidence interval or the margin of error. It is a plus and minus number usually reported in the newspaper or television. Pag may nagre-report sa mga polls, plus or minus 5% po yan. Error margin, whatever percent is needed. So the confidence level naman tells the researcher how sure he can be that the responses of the sample represent that of the population. So kailangan din dinedetermine natin ang confidence level. So this is something to do with research and it depends on what research work you're doing. But let's look at this example. A 95 confidence interval with 3% margin rate means that our statistic will be within 3 plus or minus percentage points in real population with a value of 95% of the time. Okay? Dapat to 5%. Let us use the result in job street. Sabi po dito, dapat po 5% yan. Sorry. Filipino employees are happiest in Southeast Asia based on survey. And it topped the 7-nation happiness index with 73% of respondents saying they are happy. Okay? So, let's look at the 5% margin of error. Okay? Kung ang job happiness nila ay 73%, meron silang assuming how many margin of error? Plus or minus 5%. So, pagka percentage yan, 5%. Kasi percentage na naman yan. Wala kang problema dyan. Ano ka lang ng percent. Plus and minus lang. Kaya kayo nakakuha ng 68% and 78% from 73% data. 66% minus and then 76% plus sa 71. O, tinatanong ko ano yung Thailand, Vietnam, and Hong Kong. Ayan na po yung sagot natin. Okay? So, madaling-madali lang po yan. Dito naman yung other way. Meron kasi tayong tinatawag na Slovin's formula. Slovin's formula, these are quite popular in determining the sample size. Yung mga nag-undergraduate, yung mga undergraduate students, ginagamit to lagi. O paano ba ito nagwo-work? Ayan po where N is a sample size, yung small letter N is a population, yung big letter N, that's a population size, and E naman is the margin of error, which is decided by the researcher. The researcher should know what the margin of error should be. But just like what we said, it's normally just 5%. Okay? And meaning the confidence level minus 300%, no? 95% po yan. So how does it work? Use the Slovin formula to find out what sample of population of 1,000 people you need to take for a survey on their soda preference. So may 1,000 kang population. O yan ang population nyo. Hanapin natin yung ating sample number, sample size. Okay? So, sino po dyan? Magagawa tayo ng survey for soda preferences. Ito po yung ating susundan na formula. N is equals to N over 1 plus N and E to the second power. Okay? So, step 1, syempre, determine muna natin yung ating confidence level, 95% siya. Meaning, meron tayong 5% margin of error. So, pag 5%, paano po siya siniset sa normal na digits? Yan po ay 0.05. Okay? Kapag 98% naman po, 0.02. So, in this case, 5%. We have to plug in the data. Population size is 1,000. Ayan na po yung big letter N. And then the margin of error is 5% or 0.05. O, yan. Sample natin. 1,000 yung ating N. Okay? Divide natin siya doon sa 1 plus 1. And then yung ating, so sorry, that should be 1 lang po. Then plus 1. 100. Okay? Let me just quickly do that. It should just be 1. There you go. So it can give you the data that you need para po maging guide natin. Okay, there you go. So what is the first thing that we need to do? Yung muna pong nasa parenthesis, 0.05 to the second power. So the times mo siya by its own number, 0.05 times 0.05. Yan po yung makukuha natin. Saka mo siya times dun sa 1,000. So, may nakuha kang 2.5. Meron tayong pinlas dyan na 1. So, 3.5 po yan. Yan po yung di-divide natin dun sa 1,000. Ito po yung makukuha natin. But we're talking about sample or people. So, paano po natin yan isi-set sa people? Di po natin pwede silang hatiin sa 285.7. Nagra-round off po tayo. Yan na po yung number. Okay? Kailangan po whole number po yan. Kasi hindi naman natin nasa 7 tao. Okay? So those are the ways that we can get that. Okay, yung kanina, meron tayong napakita, the way to get the sample. And then this one, which is called the Sloven's formula. Now, again, in research, we need to look for a certain technique, no, that we need to follow. There's what we call non-probability sample, biased ito. And then the probability is the unbiased sample naman. Sa non-probability, convenience, quota purposive. Doon naman po sa probability, simple, systematic, stratified, and cluster. Okay. When we talk about the simple random, most basic po yan. Kasi nga, we select it entirely by chance. Each member of the population has an equal or known chance. Oh, hindi ka talaga mamimili. Para siyang lottery. Basta random numbers. Mag-pick kayo ng lahat na may color na nakumuha ng color blue. Sila yung kukunin ko. Ganun po yung simple random sampling. Sa 100, kumuha po dito sa isang box ng mga colors blue, green, and yellow. Lahat po nakuha ng blue. Sila na po yung ating iti-test. Ganun po. Okay? Pag stratified naman, meron siyang bit of a difference. Okay? Stratified random sampling is a sampling method that subdivides the population into smaller groups known as strata. So, kailangan may smaller group pa. Kasi gusto din naman natin ma-determine, wag yung random na random. The strata are formed based on members' common attributes or characteristics. May strata ka dapat. May strata ka dapat. Sample for each stratum is proportional to its size when compared to the population is pooled to form a random sample. Oh, ito, may example tayo. How to get a stratified random sample. So you work for a small company of 1,000 people and want to find out how they are saving for their retirement. One way to use the stratified is to come up with a characteristic that they have. So in this case, or in this story, ang characteristic nila is yung age. So meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry. Meron tayong 4 sets dyan. Yung 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, and 60 and above. Okay? At ang total numbers ng ating is, sample lang, sila po yan. Pag sample natin dyan, yan po yung mga numbers ng tao at saka yung ages nila. Also, given yung data doon sa first and second column. After that, dahil na-determine mo na, ikaw nag-determine ng sample mo, 15 gusto mong kunin. Pero ilan sa bawat age bracket na yun ang kukunin mo. So, simple lang. Yung total number po, sample size natin ng strata, no, size to the entire sample, i-divide po natin siya nung ating population size. Yung gusto nating population, so in this case, 50. So, 50, di-divide po natin sa 1,000. Times po natin doon sa number of participants dun sa age na yon or sa strata na yon. Doon natin makukuha. So, 8, 11, 12, 10, and 9. Pag nakuha po natin yan, yan na po yung participants po natin. So, stratified siya kasi sinet natin siya to a certain characteristic of the population. Yan po yun. Okay? Next. For easier reference, qualitative and quantitative, kailangan po sa data gathering techniques, sa research pa rin po, dalawang types po yan. Pag sinabing quality, of course, attribute, characteristics, at words ang ating pag-present. Pag quantitative, we look at the numbers, ranks, and words related to numerical values, all related to numbers kapag quantitative. Okay? So when we do the quantitative data collection, we can do direct or interview, indirect or questionnaire, registration, experimental clinical trials, observation. Pag qualitative naman, in-depth ang ating interview, we use indirect or questionnaire, document review, focus group discussion, and of course, observation. The researchers need to comprehensively record any possible useful data, truthfully and methodically using notes, graphs, autotapes, photographs, and any other suitable and available means. The method must be observed with ethical principles of research. Okay, just a reminder, all activities and quizzes should be based on your understanding. Complete all the tasks required kasi textbook, meron po tayo. For online, You have to report any issues encountered sa inyong system. For modular, submit the modules on the scheduled week. If you have any queries, please PM me, and so I can help you out. Okay? So I hope that you're able to learn a little something about the lesson today. I'm going to stop sharing and go. And let me know if you have any questions. Just PM me, okay? Thank you, and have a great day.